I used to look upon myself as rational and strong, and love was just a word in silly songs. But from that cursed day when you crossed my way, all my confidence was gone. I'm bewitched, bewildered, and utterly alone. And something's telling me it always will be you until the end of my days. And in my dreams I see how I finally find a...
Hello, I come to you on the end of potentially one of the hardest days that I've had in a long time that I've been able to actually handle fairly well. Why don't we just jump into the painting, because that usually shows us how we feel. Nearly done with this piece after working on it for as long as we have been. I mean, what, this is, I think, video 6, and there's between 9 and 14 days generally between each release that I do. Well, I mean, sometimes there's 7, but a lot of times there's 9, so that puts us at many weeks at this point. I think this has to be my longest piece that I've been working on, and it is starting to feel complete, I will say. I will acknowledge. I think the last thing that I need to do is I think I need to hit the background with a little bit of a orange wash. Like I mentioned, an interesting thing that I learned is that you can put orange wash over black gesso and it creates green. So I'm trying to sort of bring this out a little, like kind of blend it a little bit more together, darken it maybe a little bit, unify the portrait, and then we'll hit it with some varnish, and then she'll be done. I mean, it's just crazy because, like, at least the way that I tried to make my paintings, to me, at least, when I look at it, it almost reads like a diary. Like, you can see Mark every moment that I have had in this past month and this painting. And it's really more than that. It's just, it's kind of hard to explain, like, but that's kind of what happens when you start a painting without... I think we are witnessing the true end of this painting. Done. Dude, that ear, let me talk about this ear for a second. Holy shit, that stressed me out. That ear has been stressing me out for fucking 4 weeks probably. This painting, I mean, if you can go back and you can see the most previous, you can see all the videos leading up till now, you'll see this painting did not have an ear until very recently. And I wasn't sure that I wanted to add one. I wasn't sure what shape I wanted it to be done in. I wasn't sure of a lot of different things. But eventually I just committed and did it one day. And it wasn't perfect and it wasn't pretty, but I just committed and I did it and I worked from there and it ended up perfect. And I'm really glad with how it came together because it feels like genuinely the extension that this painting needed. The painting itself was interesting before, but I think the ear really anchors it, especially the line, the intersecting line that goes through it. Dude, I cannot tell you how much I've learned from this piece. This is crazy. This is by far the most in-depth piece I have done to date, and There's no doubt about that, my friend. The one thing that I am unsure about washes is sometimes they do end up coming across a little bit dusty. And I don't know if maybe we just we fix that with a varnish, or if that's just the thing with washes. But that's something that I'm somewhat kind of working on right now. You know, there's a lot of people that say I like all music except country. Dude, how do you not like country music? You haven't listened to enough country music if you don't like country music. If you don't, I feel like most people who say they don't like country music, they think of like the Beers and Trucks and Miranda Lamberts of the world. Not that there's anything wrong with Miranda Lambert, but she certainly represents the type of country that is commonly hated on. And I'm here to tell you that if you don't like country music, I suggest you go back to the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, and do some listening and give it another shot. So I'm hitting this with like a dark green, almost black wash right now. It is very, very dark, but it's very, very thin too. And the point of this is so I can bring down the background a little bit and also sort of bring it together before I hit it with one last orange wash that will sort of unify it as a green feeling without making it feel overly orange. Because if you do too many orange washes, you start to kind of see the orange sitting above the surface, even if you've sort of created that green effect. So mixing the black and the orange, I feel, helps a little bit with that, but that's just me. That's just something that I'm working on right now. And I could be wrong, and I might switch my technique at a later time. I reserve the right to do that. But I'm just telling you what I'm thinking right now. You guys ever play old school RuneScape? It's a wonderful game. I hate the feeling of odorless mineral spirits on my skin. You can feel how bad those things are for you the moment they touch your skin. You're like, oh, this shouldn't be touching my skin. I don't know what it is about it. It's not like it hurts or anything like that. But the moment it touches your skin, you're like, oh, this should not be happening. This is not good. They're good for thinning stuff, though, without killing you. But who knows? Maybe they are killing you. Nobody knows. Hell yeah. We finished off that ear. We got ourselves another layer of a dark wash on here. I think we have one last layer of a background until this freaking bad boy is done. Oh my gosh. Dudes, we have been working on this for so long. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be nearing the end of this, but also, you know, at least me personally, I get to the end of a piece and I always feel a mix of excitement for the next piece where I'm like, holy shit, we're actually gonna like just be able to get started on a new thing, take a whole new direction, see what happens. Exciting novelty mode. But then there's also the part of me that goes, oh, blank canvas, that's spooky. But that part is easily overcome usually. Hello, I just realized that I had never offered some sort of resolution on the point of dealing with some sort of a very difficult day, which is what happened today to me. And I sort of left that open-ended on purpose, but I wanted to more explicitly say it because I've been trying to get better at doing that, and that is that just fucking roll with it, dude. Just roll with it. Bad days happen. Sometimes you just have to experience the bad day. Not all of it has to be good. Very simple. Thousands of words summed up into like 5, I don't know. That was probably way more than 5, but... Hello, friends. Coming to you live as Vacation Jake in a very unusual garage doors open discussion. I'll prove it. Ta-da! It's all finished. I'm really proud of it. It takes every single thing that I have learned to this point. It combines it together. And I looked at the one that I finished previously, which was the Pocket Man, and it was good, but it got a little bit muddy in certain spots, and I think there was a lack of detail and texture in certain spots. And in this one, I was able to address that. I think there's still spots where it gets a little bit muddy, but you know, I'm working on that. It's always a push and pull between trying to be urgent and express yourself genuinely, but also like not making it muddy. You know what I'm saying? It helps if you just let paint dry in between layers, but even then, if you do a lot of scraping, it can get muddy easily. And maybe that's what you want, but it was not what I wanted in certain areas. But I think that this one specifically, I pulled off without ever pushing it too far into muddiness. Now, my opinion may change as my skills do, but for right now, I am happy with calling this the pinnacle of what I'm capable of at the moment. And yeah, man, it's been awesome. I don't know. I'm in sort of like a weird place where I just finished this, and I'm finishing recording the videos and everything right now. So I'm kind of coming to the end of like a creative cycle, I guess, if that makes sense. And with that always comes depression and just like a little bit of confusion. Like sometimes I get this feeling like of almost, it's like being lost almost, but like, you know, when, I don't know if you've ever been in the woods and gotten turned around, but then you kind of like look around and all directions are the same to you. And you're like, yo, what? Where do I go from here? I feel like that I get a little bit of that feeling at the end of every painting. But honestly, the way that I've found that to combat it the most is literally just to start the next piece. And sometimes it takes me longer. Sometimes I need a week. Sometimes I'll start the next piece before I've even finished the last one. But like, it's all about just, I think, moving on, man. And that's sort of the phase that I'm in this moment. Which is why it felt appropriate to come to you as Vacation Jake, because It's we're going into the post-creative cycle vacation, whether it be a day or a week. It's definitely not because this is my favorite outfit that I've been wearing for the past week. That doesn't have anything to do with this. Don't suggest that. Come on. Anyways, let's just discuss this piece a little bit. Here's another let me just say this. I really enjoy this piece, and I think that I have accomplished what I wanted with it. It's just simply that this painting specifically, if you asked me a meaning about it, I'm not going to be able to articulate a meaning to you about it because the painting is what it means. Like it's the concept expressed in a physical visual form. And I don't have really words for it, but the best thing I can relate it to is that if you're trying to look for a single meaning behind it, that might be contained within it, but you're likely missing the whole picture because my goal, at least with the way that I'm doing this, is that if I express myself honestly in each moment that I am working on this piece, from 8 weeks ago until now, I think it's been 8 weeks, something like that, maybe 6 weeks, it's been many weeks. If I express myself honestly throughout that, and then not only that, as I'm expressing myself, I'm viewing and reacting to the previous expressions that are on the piece, then it contains an expression of every single emotion, at least that I have had while working on the piece, which generally for me is just about every emotion that I've had in the past month, because whenever I start feeling intense emotions come up, I always try to paint through it, or I'll sit down and talk to you guys through it while I paint, that kind of thing. And so in terms of declaring a meaning of it, there really isn't one, because it means a lot. It means a whole month's worth of things, or 2 months, or however long it's been. And so that's one thing that I wanted to mention. And that's pretty much, at least at this point, that's pretty much every single piece that I'm doing, in terms of my approach to things. There's been times where I've wanted to be edgy and put out different concepts and stuff like that, but this just feels a lot truer, and it's just kind of the way that I like doing things. So that's the discussion in terms of meaning. In terms of inspiration, I drew a lot from The Weeping Woman by Picasso. I threw a image on the last video, but I will add one here as well. And you can kind of see where I was coming from with this one, in terms of the final piece. But it's interesting because the way that I make art is my system, and so I apply that to that concept. So it's not that I'm using it for inspiration, trying to do something like it. It's I've been doing the expression, starting with free expression, slowly narrowing down, finding forms. The whole thing you've seen throughout this entire process on this channel, I approach it that way. And then as I was finishing, I started to I found that painting, I think, or maybe I don't know how I found that painting, but I found that painting near the end, and it helped push the direction that I wanted to take it in terms of the background, because everything else had been pretty much done to that point, but I was really struggling with the background because I've been wanting to do more than just void backgrounds for my portraits, and I've been wanting to incorporate it at a higher level. But also I don't just want to do a scene behind it. That's boring. So yeah, I've been focusing a lot on the backgrounds lately, and then just continuing to figure out how to apply the the system of expression that's sort of a fractal expression more deeply to my work. I know I'm throwing out like a bunch of stuff that like probably requires much deeper explanation than I'm giving it, but if I sat down and I explained every single thing, first of all, we'd be here for a very long time. And second of all, it wouldn't do it justice because these are visual concepts. These are not language concepts. And like, yes, I can say words and explain things and all of that, but it's an experiential thing. Like, it's not like I don't know how to describe it. I guess it's more like I hate the term of like, oh, it's like jazz and painting. That just sounds like very pretentious. But it's definitely improvisational and there's some sort of direction. But I'm trying to mine my process a little bit here to sort of give, I don't know, points of either reference or relatability, or maybe a useful thing. I'm just trying to, I want to speak as honestly as I can about it, without sort of diluting it with language, if that makes sense. Anyways, I feel like I want to have this like grand discussion about this painting and everything like that, but I'm realizing that I kind of want to have the painting do more of the talking for itself, because the words that I'm going to give it are going to dilute it. But at the same time, I want to discuss it with you guys because this is the channel. So I guess look at it. Still not quite done. I'm still working on applying layers of varnish, but it's getting there. Oh, one last thing for you guys. I found the report of the week, also known as Review Bra. I like that guy's stuff a lot. He has a podcast and a radio broadcast, and the radio broadcast, he pretty much has accomplished what I was trying to do with public knowledge radio. So I'm a big fan of that. It doesn't have as much like TED Talks and things. It doesn't have TED Talks and things like that. It's actually a broadcast hour from him. But listening to it, I'm like, oh yeah, this guy did it. Dang. But it's just cool. I'm glad that it exists. It gives me something to listen to. So if you have not heard of that guy, check him out. He's a very large creator, so probably heard of him already. And I'm probably very late to the party on this. But alas, I'll see you next week. Peace.